Hello everyone, and welcome to Shell Point Today for Wednesday, April the 8th. I'm Dan Filgreen. On today's show, golfing instructor Gary Keating will take us out on the green again with another tip to help improve your game. And Robyn Church has a line of beauty products over at the island's spa and salon that she's excited to show you. Finally, we'll take a visit to a Shell Point resident's home where she has some wonderful antique art and furniture pieces to show us. But first, we want to remind you that the first food drive of 2015 starts today. It's the time of year when donations are often lower and the demand for assistance is higher. So if you will be traveling soon, this is the perfect time to consider donating any of that food from your pantry that you didn't have the chance to use. Most needed are protein-rich soups and canned meats. You may drop off your donations at several locations around Shell Point or at either service desk. You can also make a monetary donation to support the South Fort Myers Food Pantry. Please make all checks payable to the Harry Chapin Food Bank. Tomorrow is an important opportunity to learn how to spot and avoid fraud. A special guest speaker who has over 30 years of experience in this field will be talking about outsmarting investment fraud. He will teach you tips and tricks to recognize and elude people who want to take your money. This will take place at 10:15 a.m. tomorrow in the Social Center on the island. Also, don't miss the David Osborne Trio concert tomorrow night. Known as the Pianist of the Presidents, Osborne's recordings have become the #1 romantic piano recordings nationwide and have reached millions of fans. The Fine and Performing Arts Series concert will take place at the Village Church at 7:30 p.m. For tickets, call 454-2067. Looking ahead to the weekend, the Shell Point Walking Club has an outing this Saturday to Fort Myers Beach. If you're physically fit and able to comfortably walk either 3 or 5 miles, then join them as they walk past Times Square, Bowditch Park, the Fort Myers Fishing Pier, and the beautiful sandy beaches. The 5-mile walk will continue south to Matanzas Pass Preserve, Bay Oaks Community Park, and more. The trip departs from the administrative courtyard on the island at 8 a.m. and sign-up is required, so contact Jim Plummer at 337-2721. Now, when you climb aboard your golf cart to get from one place to another here on the property, how often do you think about, well, golf? Maybe you're not an avid golfer, but somewhere tucked away are your set of clubs. But since you haven't played in a while and you're not really that good at it, you've just not thought about it lately. Well, now that the weather is so nice in the mornings and you're out in your golf cart anyway, hey, why not grab those clubs and head on over to the clubhouse? I'll bet you're actually better at the game than you think. And just to give a little boost to your confidence, here's Gary Keating with a golfing tip to improve your swing.
Hi, my name is Gary Keating, golf professional here at Shell Point Golf Club. We're going to talk about a 3-wood today, fairway wood or hybrids. The common mistake we see with the hybrids is players trying to lift the ball from the fairway. So let's imagine this iron shaft right here is the fairway. Let's imagine the golf ball's there. Potential mistakes we see during the golf swing is as the club comes in, players try to lift the ball, and as you can see, the leading edge is now exposed. Once the leading edge is exposed, we're going to top the ball all the time. What I want you to think about, this is what we call the leading edge. I want the leading edge to strike the ground. You can see the club face remains square. So once again, if you're having some problems with the golf ball going a little bit to the right or kind of topping it, unfortunately on the fairway, think about the leading edge. We want the leading edge to strike the ground. We don't want the leading edge to come up. As soon as the leading edge comes up, you can see basically the leading edge is going to hit the top of the ball, and we create what we call a tremendous amount of topspin. From there, the ball rolls along the ground. What I personally think about when I'm playing golf, especially with this particular wood, I like to think about the leading edge striking the ground first. So let me show you what that looks like. So once again, you'll see basically, as we demonstrated on the shaft right here, if I try to lift the ball, and this is one of the common mistakes we see, we're trying to add loft to the club face, and you can see the club face comes up and it's open. Once again, I always think basically the leading edge, I want the leading edge to strike the ground. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to hit a little shot right here, and I'm thinking about the leading edge striking the ground. Once again, I always like the butt of the club in the center of the belly, 3 inch off the inside left heel. and I want that leading edge to just scrape or touch the ground. And there we go. I personally like to strike the ground with the fairway woods. I don't like to pick the ball. The reason why I don't like to pick the ball is the sweet spot of my particular golf club is right exactly where my finger is. Most players, when they pick the ball, they hit it on the bottom of the leading edge. Once again, we need to strike the golf ball in the center of the club face, and you can see the center of the club face is a little higher than people think. I hope this helps you. You can contact us at shellpointgolf.com. Thank you.
When it comes to looking your best, there are really a lot of amazing products in the market these days. A trip to the cosmetic or health and beauty aisle can sometimes be confusing. To help you with your product choices, Robyn Church over at the Island Salon and Spa has a few of them available that she'd like to tell you about.
Hi, my name is Robyn Church and I'm here in the Island Salon, and I just wanted to share with you how some of the styling aids can make it easier for you to wear different styles. It's fun to change your style. You can have the same cut but switch it up a little bit and have a completely different look. Just to start here is Kenra. This is a dry shampoo. And these have become very popular. All of the different lines are carrying a dry shampoo now. And if you spray this kind of at your base, in the top, it will help give you some great volume. It's also great to refreshen your hair in between shampoos. Even if you like that wash and go kind of cut, it's great to keep the volume and keep it full and keep it fresh. Then we have, this is Kenra Thickening Glaze, and this is also very effective in creating volume. Just a little bit in the palm, rubbing the palms together, and then getting it in at the base of the hair, because that's always where we want our volume. We don't want to be applying the styling aids just to the ends of the hair, because that's just going to make the ends heavy and pull it down. You always want to be getting it at the base. Then, if you like shine to your style, when your style is all done and it's dry, and it's curled, if you like it curled, you just spray a little bit of this shine spray on your hair, and it leaves a beautiful shine, but it's not greasy and it won't weigh the hair down. This is a very popular product. Then we have the Hydrating Styling Cream by Moroccan Oil. Again, once you have your style all completed, you can put it on wet, but it works really good on dry, to just get a little bit in your palms and then run it through the hair. And this can run from about the middle of the hair to the ends, and it just helps give those strands definition. This is great on people who have a little bit thicker hair, and to control any kind of fuzzy or frizz, and all of these products block out the humidity when you apply them. This is a great gel. This is our Super Defrizzer Gel by Matrix, and this is really good for controlling the hair so that it's smoother. Especially a lot of gray hair will get kind of kinky, and this is really, really effective in controlling that when it's combined then to blow it dry. Then we have our So Silver shampoo. This is the only shampoo I have here today, but this is so effective in keeping white and gray hair bright and crisp looking. It really makes it beautiful. White and gray hair over time tends to pick up kind of a yellow cast, and this neutralizes that out, making the color nice and bright. It's also good for blondes. It combats blondes getting too brassy because it will neutralize out that yellow. Then we have, it's a 10 hairspray, which is a lighter, medium to light hairspray, and it also adds shine to the hair. This is my personal favorite. Then we have Kenra. Now Kenra has 3 different types of spray. There is a number 9, which is a light spray. That's great for people that really don't like hairspray, but hairspray is an essential part of everyone's arsenal, probably under your sink. but you gotta have hairspray because you have to have something to lock out that moisture and that humidity so that your hair stays full. So it has a number 9, and then there's a number 13, which is this one. This is a medium hold. And then there's number 25, which is a super hold. So each one of them has something a little bit different. The number 25 is a super hold. It will really hold that style or that set. Number 13 still has a little movement to it, but it is a stronger hold. Okay, so those are the styling products that I just wanted to share with you today. Styling aids make a big difference in how your style looks when it's all done. And just adding a little bit of pizzazz can really make all the difference in the world. If you like any help on how to use any of these or your favorite styling product, please feel free to ask your stylist. They'd be happy to show you how to use it best and how to help you to be able to style your hair at home if you like kind of a wash and go kind of look. All right, thank you. It's very nice that you joined me today. And the phone number for the salon is 489-8400. Have a great day.
And now we'd like to show you some wonderful antique art and furniture pieces. Well, not ours. We don't have any wonderful antique art or furniture pieces here in the studio, but we know of one such resident who does have some wonderful antique art and furniture pieces. After moving to Florida, Austrian native Elisabeth Wuermer decorated her home with some wonderful antique art and furniture pieces, which have been in her family collection in Austria for hundreds of years.
I grew up in the town called Raab, R-A-A-B, Austria. Very small town, it's about 1,000 people. And years ago it was bigger and busier. We used to have 5 bakeries, 18 taverns and restaurants, 3 breweries, and it was a very busy town, but time has changed and most of the people who had their businesses can't support anymore in this small town. People have cars and they go someplace else. But the people are still the same. My neighbors are the same that I grew up with, and our father taught us how to work. We had a big farm. We had a restaurant at home. Downstairs are the restaurant rooms. That's the restaurant. That's the hall up there if there's a wedding. And then here are the stables. And I was supposed to get that because I was the oldest, but I had to disappoint them. I didn't really want it. First opportunity, I was looking to go to America because I didn't think I was going to stay in America. I just thought maybe a year, 2 years. I see Lakeshore Drive with the lights on. I was amazed. And I stayed with a lady in Arlington Heights. It's near Chicago. She was ill and she needed someone in the house if something happens to her. What amazed me tremendous, because I was still a child of the war, 1956. And I go to this lady and Christmas came and she bought a turkey. I said, Mrs. Knapp, who is coming for dinner? She said, nobody, just you and me. I said, you and me and a turkey? She says, yeah. And this immense, it was very difficult to understand. And also very difficult was they served water with the dinner. I come from a restaurant. We don't serve water, we drink the beer, you know. I'm trained as a kindergarten teacher. But the first job I took, the children talked back to me. And I said, what? I'm studying 4 years in college. And then the children talked back to me, like I said, pick up the pencil. And they say, pick it up yourselves. But those were not Austrian children, those were American children from Chicago. So then I took a job in an office, 9 to 5. I was a sales lady for cars. I love first leasing and then selling. And then somebody said to me, why don't you do real estate? If you can sell cars, you can sell houses. And instead of $200 commission on a car, you get a lot more. I worked day and night. First apartment I sold downtown at 5415 Sheridan Road, Park Tower. I sold at 2 o'clock at night. They called me up, the fellow, he said he was a bartender, And the only way he can see the apartment is when he comes home from the bar. I said, what time you come home? He said, 2 o'clock. I said, I'll wait for you downstairs. And fortunately for me, it was a beautiful apartment on the 45th floor, looking downtown, the lights, like Elisabeth Taylor's jewelry box, the lights, and then the lake and the moon and everything. And I sold the apartment. It was amazing. In 6 months, I made $38,000, and I came from $180 a week. But I loved it, and this is what it is when you love something. And my people always got a little extra when they moved in. I helped them arrange for the elevator, I got them cleaning ladies, I got them the painter. I did all these little extra steps that you don't usually get. And also I went with them to get a mortgage. Some of them were foreigners just like me, so I did extra. That was always my dream, moving to Florida. My son had 2 weeks of vacation coming from a customer affairs. He has a gas station, and we went to Marco Island and we used his vacation time. It was raining that day, 3 days. What does a broker do when it's raining 3 days? They look at apartments, right? So in 3 days, I found a piece of land. I found a builder. I got the bank. And after 3 days, I started building. That's how I got to Florida. I was there about 2 months, 3 months in August, and lay on the pool. And a lady comes and we talk. And she said, I come from Chicago, so do I, in Park Ridge. I said, I have a house in Park Ridge. And she says, where? And I told her it was a couple of blocks away from her. And she said, you're Elisabeth, aren't you? I says, yeah. And she said, she gave me her name, and she said, which apartment? She said, 3204. And I look at her, I said, that's not possible. I sold this to a Yugoslavian lady by the name so-and-so. She said that was me before I got married. I mean, in the midst of summer, I found her. So that was, you just never know where your friends are. It is really strange about Austria. I'm still inside very connected to them. So every year before I bought in Marco Island, I used to go home for about 2 weeks, 10 days, go home. Okay, so I went home. And then my aunt died and she left me the furniture. It's 1840 is when it was built. And they've been in our family ever since. That's what makes it valuable, because it has all the original things. This is a book, Amour. It's 1780. It's in the Biedermeier family. A little before Biedermeier, I would say about 40 years before Biedermeier. This is the most expensive part what I have. When I was a little girl, these were my books in there. A little table. When I was little, my aunt kept the medicine in there. And this is the grandmother of my grandfather. And 1803, when you turn the picture around, it's signed. That's the Madonna. Somebody asked me how old she was. I said, you don't ask a lady how old she is, but I guess between 200 to 300 years. It's paper mache. It's not painting. It's a special way of creating things. It's a family crest, 1641, and it says the Wuermer, Thüringische Geschlechter. That means we come from Thüringen, which is part from Germany. That's where the first one started. It's 1641. And I was born in that bed, and so was my grandfather and my father. Notice how short they are, because the people at that time, they were not tall like us, they were shorter. Yeah, that's all handmade. I feel that I'm at home. And once I had the furniture done and I was living with my furniture, I never went back to Austria again. It was something that pulled me back, but when it was here, I was okay here. Now I know I belong in here.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, menus, and Village Church Connections.
Welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley and this is Caitlin Van Scoy, and we're going to tell you about your activities today. I want to remind you that food drive begins today, and you can bring your food items to the church or other public places. You'll see boxes around in the Resident Activity Center, the Woodland Service Desk, places like that. At 7:45, we'll begin with men's Bible study in the Osprey room today. 8 o'clock, we have men's match play doubles tennis. That's at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. Lily and Company Jewelers will be here at 8:45 at the Resident Activities Center. From 9 till 12, Jurassic Travel will be in the Egret room to help you with any individual travel needs you may have. At 9 o'clock, the watercolor group with Phil Hilton will be in the art studio. At 9:15, the card making and scrapbooking group will be down in the Tarpon room, which is in the tunnel. At 10 o'clock, the ladies' Bible study will be in the Osprey room. Also at 10 o'clock today, we have the men's match play doubles tennis down at the Woodlands. The Model Yacht Sailing Club will be at the Woodland Commons Lake at 10:15. And we have a Health Connections class at 11:30. This one is Specifics in Cardio Conditioning, and that's in the Health Club, and it's currently full. And here's Caitlin to continue into the afternoon lineup.
Thank you, Bev. We have a Health Connections class starting our afternoon at 12:45. It's Advanced Senior Strength. That'll be in the Health Club, and that's currently full. We have chess at 1 p.m. in the Library Lounge. And Coffee with the Pastors will be in the Hospitality Room of the Village Church at 1:15. From 1:30 to 3:30 today, the Model Train Room will be open for complimentary tours and viewing. And at 1:45, another Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1. And that's in the Health Club, and it's currently full. Come and listen to Jazz and Stuff in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands at 2:30. We have Bible study at 3 o'clock in the Community Room of King's Crown. Another Health Connections class at 3 o'clock, Pilates Stretch in the Health Club. The Memory Care Group will meet at 3 o'clock at the Conference Room of the Behavioral Health Building, and you do need to sign up for that. We have another Health Connections class at 3:30, Aqua Agility and Conditioning. That'll be at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center. Pickleball will be played at the pickleball courts at 4 o'clock. And then we have indoor bocce in the Health Club at 4:30. We have court dinners at the Crystal Dining Room. Pickups will begin at Lakewood at 4:30 and 440 Rosemont. 5:45 is the time for church choir rehearsal at the choir room of the Village Church. And we finished our day off with prayer and praise at 7:15 in the Village Church. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is meatloaf with mashed potatoes and carrots. The dinner special is the pasta buffet for $13.95, and the soup of the day is minestrone. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a smoked sausage sandwich with onion rings for $7.25. The dinner special is grilled shrimp for $8.25. Dinner specials on the Palm Grill are baby back ribs for $15.95 or shrimp romesco for $15.95. Menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey, an assistant pastor. He rescued me because he delighted in me, explained David in the Bible book of 2 Samuel. This was no longer the inexperienced shepherd boy playing his harp as he watched the sheep on the hills around Bethlehem. This was Israel's monarch, King David, now an old man, looking back on life. Rescued. From the vantage point of old age, King David was overwhelmed by God's initiative in rescuing him from the hands of his enemies. He reached down from heaven and took hold of me. He drew me out of deep waters, he confessed. David had been rescued time and again, rescued from the giant Goliath, rescued from the mad King Saul, rescued from his traitorous son Absalom, rescued from the Philistine armies. His whole life was a testimony to God's initiative in rescuing him time and again. But David had also been rescued from the internal enemies of guilt and depression, which resulted from his adultery with Bathsheba and murder of Uriah. So why did the Lord rescue David? Not because David deserved it, he didn't. Not because David had earned it, he hadn't. The psalmist explained it in this way: God rescued me because he delighted in me. Every born-again believer in Jesus Christ does well to pause occasionally, like David, and reflect on God's grace. We have been rescued from physical dangers and from a wasted life with hell on the horizon. But we've also been rescued from the deep waters of guilt and depression, which result from our shortcomings. God has reached down from heaven and intervened. It was this aspect of God's initiative that moved Charles Wesley to write, "He breaks the power of cancelled sin. He sets the prisoner free." But being rescued is only part of our story. The rest is this: God displayed such grace just because he delighted in us. The God who numbers the very hairs of our heads, who cares about each little bird, who clothes the lilies of the field, is the one who says, "I have loved you with an everlasting love." "The Lord your God will take great delight in you," wrote the prophet Zephaniah. "He will rejoice over you with singing." Every day our thinking and our behavior should be touched by the reminder of God's delight in us. When tempted to pride, it should humble us. When tempted by depression, it should lift us. When tempted by anger, it should soften us. We have earned nothing, we deserve nothing, but for some reason, God delights in us and takes the initiative to rescue us. Raleigh the poet put it well: "I was lost, but Jesus found me, found the sheep that went astray, threw his loving arms around me, drew me back into his way." Hey, God thinks you're pretty special. Shouldn't that influence the way you live today? And thank you for tuning in to Village Church Connections.
Well, that's going to do it for another Shell Point Today. On tomorrow's show, Bev Chandley will introduce us to an upcoming outing to the Holocaust Museum to see a compelling exhibit next week. Plus, we will visit a survivor of the Holocaust who's also written a book about it. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, April 8th. I'm Dan Filgreen, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.